Wow.
Oh shit, Melania's coming in. If he shed a tear, if Donald Trump shed a tear, everyone in the CNN staff would vote for him.
100%.
They would be like, "Oh my God, look at how emotional, like, look at how vulnerable he was." Like, it's very different than JD Vance being like a soft pedal baby guy, because the expectation from JD Vance is that he's like lib coded. But Trump doing something like that, they would go crazy. They would go crazy.
There is a chance he might do it as well, like, because he cares so much about himself. Like, you're if Trump cries, I'm crying as well.
Yeah.
She is next to her husband's new running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, Republican of Ohio, the vice presidential nominee. And there she is among the other members of the Trump family, Ivanka and Tiffany and Eric and Don
She
Jr.
wrote some crazy shit about Trump after he got shot.
Casey,
really?
What were you saying about Melania? I'm sorry.
I didn't see
as
any
we
of
were
it.
watching Melania step on.
She said the shooter recognized her husband as a political machine, which was crazy because, like, recognize is a wild word to use there.
But Chris,
because it
just
implies
picking up
that
on
he
what
is.
you were saying about the different tone of the speech and how it's a different moment for the former president, Donald Trump. He is winning this campaign. He is ahead. She is coming in here, getting introduced as the possible future first lady in a situation that's entirely plausible. And he's not been in this situation before.
Sometimes it's very
that's
bad.
absolutely true. I just want to note that it's not, we haven't seen them together still. He left that box before she got in. And it's interesting stagecraft, given the fact that we haven't seen her in a long time.
So
she
weird.
had her moment,
She looks
but
weird,
there
but
was
she's
no
still
greeting.
hot.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see it later on the stage with the balloon drop and everything else.
Right,
She's got that kind of model alien face.
She did issue a statement after the attempt on her husband's life, in which she said, quote, "When I watched that violent bullet strike my husband, Donald, I realized my life and Barron's life were on the brink of devastating change." And she went in to say, "A monster who recognized my husband as an inhuman political machine attempted to wring out Donald's passion, his laughter, ingenuity, love of music, and inspiration. The core facets of my husband's life, his human side, were buried below the political machine. Donald, the generous and caring man who I have been with through the best of times and the worst of times." A very personal statement, the kind of thing we're not really used to hearing from the First Lady, and we are not actually going to hear from her this evening, as far as we know. Anderson?
To come out, then Dana White, and then introducing the former president, Donald Trump, for his remarks. I mean, one of the things, Scott Jennings, that clearly stands out is the use of non-traditional folks here at the convention. Certainly Hulk Hogan, Dana White. I mean, Dana White introducing former president is something you would not see in a...
He's going to introduce the former president.
Outside of political culture. It's not just a bunch of elected officials and party types. They are reaching a whole group of people who may be basically disconnected from our normal civics. And this is how you change the composition of the electorate. And remember,
Did he
a
beat
big
his
part
wife,
of Donald
Dana
Trump's
White?
strength
That's
in
what
the
Chat was
polling
saying.
is
Did
that
Dana White
he
beat his
does
wife?
very well. He does very well among people who are low propensity voters, people who aren't political and only occasionally show up. My guess is these guys are going to be very impactful for that audience.
Yeah, but just the split screen of looking at Melania Trump right now sitting in that box is remarkable. We have hardly seen her at all on the campaign trail this time around. Obviously different than 2020 when she was the first lady, and very different than 2016 when she was speaking on that stage at the convention. I was told by sources they tried really hard to get her to give a speech tonight. Several people personally appealed to her,
Like, nope.
and she had no interest in doing
Like, I ain't trying to take a bullet for that man.
change since 2016. Donald Trump was convicted in New New York. And the hush money case, something that became a real point of division between he and the First Lady when that story broke when they were in the White House. And so it is notable to see her coming out, as Melania Trump is known for doing, her own style in her own way, coming out by herself to sit in this box.
Is it clear to you what role she would have if the former
I don't think it would
reelected?
I don't think it would look like a traditional First Lady role. I mean, it's hard to know until it actually happens and if he's reelected. But what we've heard from people is that the First Lady role may look different than it typically does. It was already different, when she was
Donald
the First
Trump
Lady
is
at the time
linking up
before.
with
She would
Zelensky.
go away and have extended periods of absence without explaining it. Typically, First Ladies,
it's over.
Yep.
It's over. It's done. It's done. He's linking up with Zelensky. I am Uzbek immigrant to America who is Donald Trump. I will try to vote next election. I have a citizen.
Good on you.
Donald Trump, very cool guy. Loves the Uzbeks.
In order to see the chart, I started to turn to my right and I was ready to begin a further turn, which I'm lucky I didn't, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It could only be a bullet, and moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down, and my hand was covered with blood. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one moment proceeded to drop to the ground.
Spoilers, bro.
Bullets continued to fly as the very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage and pounced on top of me for protection. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. Bullets were flying over us, and yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents are putting themselves in peril.
They just want to take.
I'll stop.
They just want to. They don't want to go
from a
to
much greater
thrive.
distance.
That's why.
One board took out
He's
the
gonna do it
assassin.
better, though.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight, but I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. That's going to come from Donald Trump, a very different Donald Trump than we've ever heard before.
Well, and of course, one of the only times we have heard from Melania was a statement that she issued on that. We haven't heard from her directly on camera, but she put out a lengthy statement talking about how deeply that affected her. Because
lightning
she
never
talked about
strikes
how her
twice, bro.
American's
Yep,
life was
okay.
almost, irreversibly
Good.
changed if that bullet had been an inch closer
Good.
to
Yeah,
Donald
being
Trump.
serious.
And she kind of talked about in her statement, which is rare for her to have such a lengthy statement, about the personal nature of what they could have lost on that day.
And the extent to which she has not been on the campaign trail really at all.
She hasn't been to anything. Even when they have massive parties at Mar-a-Lago, celebrating when he does well. She has attended a few fundraisers that she's held, but they're private fundraisers. Other than that,
All right, let's listen into.
Okay, Dana White's on. Wife beater Dana White.
You changed since karaoke, Hassan.
He asked me as a friend, and of course I said yes. Then, after I accepted his offer, he sent me a text message, and I just want to read to you a little piece of what President Trump wrote to me.
Punch your wife in the
Dana,
face.
I'm so honored that you will be
Your
doing
swing
the
is
introduction
weak, Dana.
at the National
I've
Republican
reviewed the
Convention.
footage.
Think of it as the biggest fight you ever had, a fight for
With
our
your
country
wife.
and even the world. I only wish you didn't have to interrupt your family trip, but I hope they understand they love you and they know how important this is. Now think about this. This man's running for president of the United States. He's fighting for the future of this country, and he's concerned about interrupting my family trip. That's the President Trump that I know.
Everyone's always like, yo, he's my bestie. He calls me and shit. It's like, bro, yeah, you guys are all like rich and he wants something.
The mainstream media likes to push the narrative that he doesn't care about anyone but himself. I absolutely know that's not the truth because I've been friends with this guy for 25 years. And for the people who know me, they'll know this is true. I just want to make something very clear. Nobody in the Trump campaign has ever told me what to say. Nobody tells me what to say, and I'm nobody's puppet.
Why is he licking his lips like that? Is he on coke?
And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. And I know President Trump. I know President Trump is a fighter. I've been saying this since 2015. Now look at what's happened over the last 10 years. We have all seen it with our own eyes.
I'm also trying to hold it together with the...
I'm in the tough guy business. And this man is the toughest, most resilient human being that I've ever met in my life.
But it's so funny seeing like 50-year-old divorced dads and like wife beaters, people who say the N-word all the time, almost to tears, talking about how sick Donald Trump is.
So what's at stake here? The answer is in President Trump's text. And I quote, a fight for our country. I know why he's running for president again. Why else would he
To
put
avoid
himself
jail time, to not go to jail.
back here?
To
We all
pardon
know he
himself.
doesn't need this. This guy's got a great life. He has a beautiful family, and he has achieved everything that you could possibly achieve in life. I know President Trump is literally putting his life on the line for something bigger than himself, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
There's nothing funnier than saying that about Donald Trump because he's like objectively a narcissistic, self-interested person, like very obviously.
And I know he wants what's best for the American people, all American people. I know he's running for president to save our American dream.
Even the brown ones.
Even the American dream. And I know the American dream is very real. Whether you were born in this country or came here from someplace else, this is the last real land of opportunity. President Reagan once said, government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. And if you're buried in government red tape, how will you ever start your own business? If you're struggling to pay your bills,
oh my God,
how can you ever afford to start a family? And if you don't feel safe in your own town, why would you ever buy a house? I know that President Trump is fighting to save the American.
That's the hurdle. Stopping before buying a house, bro. But they don't feel safe because there's Mexicans around.
We are choosing who we want to lead us in this fight. I know President Trump is a proven leader, a fearless leader, and this country was in a much better place when he was in the Oval Office. In my mind, the choice is clear. But this election, we all get to choose. I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. And I'm not telling you what choice to make, and I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. I know America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong America.
No, we don't.
I know Donald J.
Please,
Trump
no more.
is the best choice for President of the United States.
Too strong.
My fellow
Too long.
Americans, it is my honor to introduce the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
It's coming. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. Oh, it kind of looks like him. Like, he kind of looks like he's a... That's weird.
Imagine if he pulls out a gun and shoots the guy.
I don't think he's going to do that. That's weird, though. That's so weird. Wait, why are they taking?
What are they doing?
Why are they taking photos on the stage like so close to him? Are they trying to emulate like when he got shot?
It literally looks like that.
Oh my God, he's in front of a White House. Are they doing a reenactment?
It looks like it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. And thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob.
Thank you, Kid Rock.
And thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful soul. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
He didn't thank his son.
Together we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We
oh my God, if
rise
somebody
together.
popped a balloon in there, it would go nutty, dude.
I am running
Just
to be
one balloon, dude.
president
Everyone will
for
die.
all of
Everyone will
America,
get shot.
not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we will do it right. We're going to do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened.
He's gonna cry.
And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Oh, he's milking it so hard.
Yep.
Oh my God, he's the milkmaid.
Was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily.
Very strongly.
Because I was
Happily?
discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership.
How is that relevant?
The numbers.
He's giving
were
all the details, bro.
Absolutely amazing.
He's setting the scene.
In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place.
Absolutely blood.
I immediately knew it was very
The reddest
serious, that
blood.
we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground.
Perfectly.
Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage.
Look at the images. Oh my God, they're crying. They're like actually sad.
Yeah, wow.
These are great people at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was
I hate
blood
him. They
pouring
don't give a shit
everywhere,
about his
and yet,
PTSD.
In a certain way,
I don't give a
felt
shit about
very
his
safe
PTSD.
because I had
What?
God
Also, he doesn't
on
have
my
PTSD.
side.
He's too
I felt
narcissistic.
Yeah, liberals are such simps, dude. Liberals are ready to go. They're like, I can't wait to vote for Trump illegally. Okay, man, he got
The
shot.
amazing thing is that prior to the shot,
Hello.
if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together.
He's giving props to the assassin.
The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets
Where
that
are
were
you
being
going?
fired.
Yeah.
Where
Crowds
are you going?
run for the exits
Where?
or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front.
People were pointing at
Nobody
him before.
ran, and by not stampeding,
Yeah,
many
20
lives
minutes
were
prior.
saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed
What?
more than any other part of the body. For
What
whatever
is he
reason, the
saying?
doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He
Look at
said,
your
it's the
nose.
ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. They're
Please talk about your
incredible
shoes.
people.
That's what I really want.
They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us.
Yeah, what?
Yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used,
He was like right on top of him.
took the assassin's life, took him out.
Wait, really?
Wait, no way.
I'm not
Come-
supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be
How do you
here.
actually spell his name?
No? Thank you. but I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports
Checking in on the Jover
over
meter.
the last few days, many people say it was
now.
a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose, surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over, but I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight."
Against who?
Mexicans.
Thank you.
Okay, he
Once
lies.
my
He
clenched
said, where are my shoes?
fist went up,
First he said, where are my
and it
shoes?
was
Not without
high
my shoes.
into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey, comparator, unbelievable person, everybody tells me.
Unbelievably racist. As
and
we found out.
seriously wounded. Two other great warriors, spoke to them today, David Dutch and James Copenhaver. Two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was.
I can't tell if they actually misspelled his name or not. It wouldn't shock me. Oh my God, they did. Compratore. Oh my God.
Wait, so did they make that?
Is he going to put it on?
Because that's not his real jacket then, right?
He kissed it! He kissed it! Ah! Send me a screenshot, chat. Send me a screenshot, please. I have to tweet it. Someone in the chat, send me a screenshot of that, please.
I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million.
He's so zesty!
For the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine.
Thank you, I got it.
Called up, he sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million. From Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey.
Are we allowed to speak?
Yeah, I don't give a f. Yeah, oh no.
I thought maybe Twitch would ban you if you.
There's no greater love.
Damn, that was a second. Bro, Trump could not wait for like 10 seconds, bro.
Forged America in
He immediately went right in.
And this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of
Feels like a jump
human
cut back
achievement
to it.
and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined.
The name on the
than
jacket
ever.
is spelled
I
wrong
am
in the
more
fire
determined
department
than
as
ever,
well.
and
I
so
don't know
are you.
why.
So is everybody in this room. Thank you. Thank
Full
you.
name
very much.
probably couldn't fit. It's anti-Italian discrimination, but Italian last names are long as f.
Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. Never.
He does sound a little bit softer.
And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, which is what's been happening in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy. Especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country. And very big news, as you probably just read.
Crazy. He got his ear shot off, and
On
he's still
Monday,
like,
a major
they said
ruling
mean
was handed
words
down
about
from
me.
a highly
because the ear
respected federal
thing is
judge
playing
in
well.
Florida, Eileen Cannon, finding that the prosecutor and the fake documents case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of
That's
court.
how you know. That's the only shit he cares about. He's like, yeah, just drop the charges against me for unity, please. Please, for unity. Come on now. Drop the charges.
Democrats want to unify our country. They should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people. On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania.
Wait, is he expecting her to come up there? She ain't gonna come up there.
It says recognizes his family. He's like, oh,
Trump recognizes his family at RNC.
I know those guys.
That's funny. Good Chiron.
And Melania, thank you very much. You also did something really beautiful, a letter to America calling for national unity, and it really took the Republican Party by surprise, I will tell you. It was beautiful.
Because everybody thinks that she hates you, or everybody knows. Yeah. That's why it took the Republican Party by surprise, bro.
In fact, some
you
very
are so
serious
divorced.
people said that we should take that letter and put it as part of the Republican platform. That would be an honor, wouldn't it?
What?
Right, Mr. Congressman? But it captivated so many, so I also want to thank my entire family for being here. Don, Kimberly, Ivanka and Jared, Eric and Lara, Tiffany and Michael.
Bro, he said
Barron,
Tiffany after Lara.
Barron.
He almost skipped Tiffany.
And of course, my 10 wonderful grandchildren. You saw a few of them up there on my lap before. And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? I mean, you know, was he good? You know, he was on probably the only vacation he's had in about, maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called, and he said, yeah, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it. And they came in, they said, Dana won't be able to do it, because he was my first, second, and third choice. I said, well, you know, that's too bad, but I understand he's away, and it's good. It's good for him. And that was it. About 30 minutes later, she came back in, sir, Dana just called. He's going to do it. And his wife, she said, you can't turn him down. You just can't do it. You have to go. That's a good wife.
She just doesn't want to get beaten up by him anymore. She's like, please go.
Yeah. Please, you beat my ass enough as it is.
Please.
So he got on a plane. He got here a little while ago. Now he's going to get on the plane in a little while, and he's going to go back home to his wife. But they're great, and I just want to thank her and him and their whole family, because that's not easy. And Kid Rock, same thing. Called, he said.
Okay, bro. Kid Rock is not busy.
I want to be a part of it.
Kid Rock ain't
I want
busy,
to be a
bitch.
part, because, you know, Kid does his great song, Big, Big Monster song. I had no idea. You know, he became a friend of mine over the last 10 years. And he's amazing. Everyone loves him. I didn't even know how big he was. You know, he has rallies, 35, 40,000 people he gets every time he goes out. I think he's making so much money, he doesn't know what the hell to do with it. You want to know? And then we have my other friend, and I've known him so long, and we took that song, and it was a big success, but we made that. I saw a chart of great songs to America. That was #1 on the chart recently, #1. So,
what chart?
That's Lee Greenwood, a very special, beautiful person. He's a beautiful man. But they all wanted to be here. They called. And how about the Hulkster? How good was he? Is he up?
He loved the Hulk. That was real.
Boy, oh boy.
84%.
You know, they may call it.
What does this man even do?
They may call that entertainment.
He's a wrestler. You don't know.
I
know, but that's it. He was just a wrestler.
When he
Dude,
used
are
to
you kidding me?
lift
He's
a
an icon.
350-pound man over his shoulders and then bench press him 2 rows into the audience. I say, maybe entertainment, but he is one strong son of a gun. I will tell you, I watched it many times. There aren't a lot of entertainers that can do that, right? You were fantastic.
He's about
Thank
to cry.
you very much. Followed by Eric. What was that all about? Boy, that was good. I didn't want to really come up here.
Bro, he's literally like, my
But he
expectations
was
were
so
low.
great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of
Young man?
trouble, and Don last
Bro's
night was
like
incredible.
45, dude.
So
What
much
do you
trouble. They
mean?
got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom. They've got to stop that because they're destroying our country. We have to work on making America great again, not on beating people. And we won. We beat them and all. We beat them on the impeachments. We beat them on indictments. We beat them. But the time that you have to spend, if they would devote that genius to helping our country, we'd have a much stronger and better country. And Jason, the biggest star in country music. Jason, thank you for being here. Jason, thank you very much.
This isn't a speech. It's just
Jason
thanking
Aldean, he's
people.
good. I like his wife even better, by the way. She's
So far, very little attacks
Thank you,
against
Jason.
the Democrats. So
But I'm thrilled
CNN
to
will
have
definitely
a
talk about
and partner
how
fighting
uniting
by
he
my
is.
side.
See, look at the
The
Chiron.
next
Discord and
Vice
division in our
President of
society
the
must be
United
healed.
States, the current senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and his incredible wife, Usha.
He's going to call out the top of the hour ad break.
Vice President, he's going to be great. He'll be with this country
At the
and
top of
with
the
this
hour.
movement, greatest movement in the
There's
history
a
of our
3-minute
country.
ad
Make
break.
America great again. When they criticize
They
it,
want
say,
you to
"We're
not
gonna
see
try and
the
stop
ad
MAGA." I said, MAGA
by
is make
subscribing.
America great again. What are you going to stop? There's nothing to stop.
$6 or for free. Twitch Prime is
Then
free,
they say,
folks.
oh, that's right.
Here
it's
it
very
is.
tough to fight it. And all of the people that did try and fight it have failed. But he's going to be with us for a long time, and it was an honor to select him. Great, great student at Yale. His wife was a great student at Yale. They met at Yale. These are two smart people. So, J.D., you're going to be doing this for a long time. Enjoy the ride. And a very special thank you to the extraordinary people of Milwaukee and the great state of... Oh, there they are.
Oh.
There they are. That's...
Oh.
You are so easy to spot. And Green Bay's going to have a good team this year, right? They're going to have
You
a
should
good
have been wearing one of those.
They're going to have a good team.
I mean, I have the hat right there if you want to
Most
wear
of
the
the
big
audience doesn't like it, but it's true. You're going to have a very
No,
good
because
team.
I'll hide my
this year.
ear.
And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that.
What the f?
And I promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation. To every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman, Democrat, Republican, or independent, black or white, Asian or Hispanic, I extend to you a hand of loyalty and of friendship. Together we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before. We were right there in the first term. We got hit with COVID. We did a great job. Nobody knew what it was, but nobody's ever seen an economy pre-COVID. And then we handed over a stock market that was substantially higher than just prior to COVID. Coming in, did a great job. Never got credit for that. We got credit for the war and defeating ISIS and so many things, the great economy, the biggest tax cuts ever, the biggest regulation cuts ever, the creation of Space Force, the rebuilding of our military. We did so much. We did so much. Right to try. Right to try is a big deal. We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years.
What is Space Force?
Somebody's terminally
Space Force
ill.
is the new. It's like the
Hopefully
Marines,
there's nobody
Navy.
in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally
you
ill and they
guys
can't
have
use our
military in
new
space now?
space-age
Yeah.
drugs and other things that we are way ahead. We have the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest laboratories in the world, and you can't do it. They've been trying to get that approved for 52 years. Wasn't that easy? The insurance companies didn't want to do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if it didn't work, people are pretty far down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their record, so I got everybody into an office. 52 years they tried. Sounds simple, but it's not. And I got them to agree that somebody that needs it will, instead of going to Asia, Europe, or someplace, or if you have no money going home and dying, just die. We got them to sign an agreement, agree to it, where they're not going to sue anybody. They're going to get all of this stuff. They're going to get it really fast. And what's happened is we're saving thousands and thousands of lives. It's incredible. Right to try.
No, it's not actually in space.
It's a great feeling. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will doubt our might. Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Then there's an international crisis, the likes of which the world has seldom been part of. Nobody can believe what's happening. War is now raging in Europe and the Middle East. A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia. And our planet is teetering on the edge of World War III. And this will be a war like no other war because of weaponry. The weapons are no longer army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. These weapons are obliteration. It's time for a change. This administration can't come close to solving the problems. We're dealing with very tough, very fierce people. They're fierce people. And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce.
Unity.
So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill.
We weren't doing that. That's what really gets the crowd going.
Holes in the ground.
No, I mean, those guys are all like oil barons and shit, so they are actually stoked on that.
Can you believe what they're doing? But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, so much was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's ever seen before, and we'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. You know, people don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great.
That's how it works. Got it.
And hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation, and we had an economy the likes of which
the
nobody,
fart sniffer. How did you like that tax cut, Hassan?
China, we were
I didn't. Why are you advocating for me to get more tax cuts, broke boy?
And they know
like
it.
that's just a
They know.
self-own.
We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better.
Dude literally
I
came
will
in here to
end
be like,
the
dude, you're rich.
illegal immigration
Okay.
crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress. And I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. And we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen. I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened.
Hundreds of
if I was
thousands of people
president.
being killed by migrants
and the war
every year.
caused by the attack on
What
Israel,
does he actually mean by that? What
which
is he
would have
saying?
never
I
happened
think he's
if
trying
I
to say
was
drugs,
president.
like
Iran was
fentanyl.
broke. Iran had no money. Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke. I watched the other day on a show called Deface the Nation. Has anyone seen it?
Wow,
And they had a
he's so
congressman
good.
who was a
Hey, chat,
Democrat
has
say,
anyone
well,
seen it?
whether you like
No,
him
he
or
says
not,
face the nation,
Iran
but he
was
said
broke
deface the
dealing with
nation.
Trump. I told China and other countries,
Fucking
if
got
you
'em.
buy from Iran, we will not let you do any business in this country, and we will put tariffs on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again. They used COVID to cheat. We're never going to let it happen again. And they took off all the sanctions and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a
He
shame
directly is
what
responsible
this
for it. He threw the
damage that this
denuclearization agreement.
administration has done, and I say it often. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. Only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. The damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will restore vision, strength, competence, and we're going to have a thing called common sense making most of our decisions, actually. It's all common sense. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like it. We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it.
No.
We had no inflation, soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, nobody can believe it because it's
happening
not
now
correct.
in
Yeah.
reverse. And the
So he's
world
pointing at,
was
like,
at peace.
oil
Inflation
barons
has
and
been
being
a killer
like,
for our country.
it's
No
great
matter
for
what
you,
you
wasn't
make
it?
it doesn't matter because inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation. We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a
So yeah, let's
tremendous
go back to
failure.
Germany 100
Today,
years ago.
our cities are flooded
A
with
brave,
illegal
bold
aliens.
leader.
Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force, and their
Some might
jobs are
say
taken.
a veteran,
By the way, you know
much
who's
like me, I
taking
got
the
shot
jobs,
at.
The jobs that are created, 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal
Why did he
aliens.
mention Germany? Why was
And
that
you
his
know who's
go-to?
being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? the black population and the Hispanic population because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it.
What?
Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair
He said
and
blacks for
depression.
Trump.
We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation again. Thank you. With proper leadership, every disaster we are now enduring will be fixed, and it will be fixed very, very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility,
Look at those
I
young
am asking
Republicans,
you to
dude.
be excited about the future of our country.
They
Be
all
excited.
look like the
Be
shooter.
excited.
Yeah. I'm convinced, bro, he got me. Okay, well, you're gullible.
And by the way, the news reports, look at all of those big networks. Look at them. They're all here. But every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most enthusiastic convention of either party that they've ever seen. Every single one. And it's true. It's true. And there's love in the room. There's great love in the room. So I better finish strong. Otherwise, we'll blow it. And we can't let that happen. Now, this was great. All of the great people that spoke, and everybody hit a home run. I mean, there's not one that I can think of where I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. They're already getting ready. See, I gave them an idea. Now, this was a great convention. This was, I think we're actually going to go home and miss it. You know, usually with a first of all, look at these crowds. You'd never have this at a convention. Look at these crowds.
That's why they wouldn't let us in, because it was slammed.
Love. It's about love. This week, the entire Republican Party has formally adopted an agenda for America's renewal, and you saw that agenda. And it's very short compared to the long, boring, meaningless agendas of the past, including the Democrats. They write these things that are hundreds of pages long, and they never read them after they're done. In their case, fortunately, they don't read them because they're pretty bad. It's a series of bold promises that we will swiftly implement when you give us a Republican House. And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We have our great Speaker of the House with us tonight, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you. A Republican Senate. We have many senators here. And send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to get it done. First, we must get economic relief to our citizens. Starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again.
How are you going to do that?
Make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this.
I want to know
Under
how he's
this
going to do that.
administration,
Tax cuts for the oil guys.
our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China doesn't. Under the Trump administration, just 3.5 years ago, we were energy independent. But soon, we will actually be better than that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply the rest of the world with numbers that nobody has ever seen, and we will reduce our
I don't mind
debt.
that. If you guys just invade your own country for oil.
What's the liberal argument against Trump? That he's a bad guy? Shit's so bad, and there's not a single solution offered. Of course, people believe Trump.
And by the way, they want to raise
and pray to the capitalist gods ain't cutting it.
4 times. Think of it.
Yeah, that's what the liberal argument is.
Politicians. I always love politics.
That Trump is just a bad guy. That's the only thing I ever say.
And they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life I was watching.
Hassan admitted you will vote for Trump after this.
People are so
stupid, dude.
This is the only administration that said,
no, I think people legitimately
by 4 times what you're paying now. And people are supposed
by this speech.
I think people are dumb.
I've never heard it.
And like,
you're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth. We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt.
But how does tax cuts lead to?
And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam.
So you don't like paying $28K more a year?
And that's caused
of course you don't notice it. We notice it. I do. You're an idiot.
The cost of energy.
Your tax cuts are coming back, by the way. Your tax cuts have already perished. You know that, right? Because they sunset. They sunset now. You know whose tax cuts are not sunsetting? Mine, motherfucker. Corporate tax rates and the top marginal tax rate are permanent tax cuts. Everyone else's tax cuts are actually sunsetting. You're stupid. The tax cut that you got is like $5, dumbass.
And I will end the electric vehicle mandate.
Don't try to come in here and be LARP as like, yo, I'm a broke man. That's why I need the tax cuts. That kind of attitude is exactly why dumb vote for policies that harm them.
Which is happening right now and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car.
That shit makes me so mad.
And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico.
What did he say about EV?
With all the other things happening
he just hates
on our border,
EV. He's
and they're
like
being
gonna
built by China to make cars.
I don't know what he's gonna do. But he keeps talking about how
no
EV's
tax,
gay.
No anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump, because we're going to bring back car manufacturing, and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world.
He wants Sean Fain fired.
We're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States.
It's crazy because Biden actually built a bunch of new EV manufacturing and battery manufacturing plants under the IRA.
And think of it,
it's like wild that he's like, no, we gotta shutter those new factories.
They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it, and we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made. Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal I made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product. They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus.
You said it.
We will not let countries come in take our jobs and plunder our nation. They come and do that.
Only we can do
plunder
that.
our nation. The way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. Very simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create massive numbers of jobs. We will take over the auto industry again, and many, many hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them.
Bro, he said this last time. He was president for 4 years. He didn't do shit.
Economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and
he
all
said
those
this
hotels
when he was running for president last time.
I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips.
The only American solution is tax cuts. There's no other solution. No increase in minimum wage.
I got that by having dinner recently.
Decrease the minimum wage.
Nevada,
employers will be like, oh, you're getting more tips
points.
now.
Yeah. Good luck explaining that to Americans.
I'll see you there very soon, everybody. And we're having dinner at a beautiful restaurant in
the reason why the restaurant owners are clapping is because they're the ones who benefit from this. No tax on tips is, once again, explain to the working class that rely on tips as a good thing, when in fact it is just going to keep the minimum wages as low as physically possible.
Said, actually, and I didn't know this. She said very little cash is given. It's all put right on the
dude. Shut up! Shut up!
And they
shut
come
up,
in and they take so much of our money. It's just ridiculous,
chatter.
and they don't believe anything we say. And they've just hired, as
Stop
you know,
talking about how bleak things are and how I'm actually incredibly privileged.
Even more.
Okay, unless you're going to say it with your chest and say that you're going to vote for Donald Trump, I don't care.
And I said,
very frustrating to cry to me right now.
Most people go out, they hire consultants, they pay them millions of dollars. But I said to her, let me just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax on tips? She said, what a great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers and everybody's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money. Let them keep their money.
Does it seem like
I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people, by the millions they're coming in.
Maybe next time he loses and cries about it, you can storm the Capitol and get no scope this time.
To afford it.
Okay,
they are
Republicans?
destroying your Social Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. But no hope or dream we have for America can succeed unless we stop the illegal immigrant invasion, the worst that's ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch. Brandon Judd, the Border Patrol, he's incredible. These guys, you know, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything, but they want to. They're patriots. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, ICE. ICE goes out. You have to see what ICE does with MS-13. You have these are probably the worst gang, and ICE goes in there. And I know a lot of people in these rows here, and they're very tough people, but they don't want to do this job. They'll go into a pack of MS-13 killers. They're the worst. Probably the worst gangs in the world. We have thousands of them. I moved thousands and thousands out in My 4 years, we moved them out, and it was a pleasure. But ICE would go right into a pack of these killers, and you see fists flying, you see everything flying, and then they take them. They put them in a paddy wagon. They take them back, and they get them out of our country. And the other countries weren't accepting them back, and I called up, and I said, tell them that we're not giving them economic aid anymore. And the next day, I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration to doing that. And within 24 hours, they were being taken back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't leave the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the buses. They'd all have to turn back. As soon as I said no more economic aid of any kind to any country that does that, they called back and they said, sir, it would be our great honor to take MS-13. We love them very much.
Everybody loves the idea of non-taxable tips and then hates paying 80% in the tip jar when it comes down to it, because that's precisely what's going to happen.
It's our pledge to end this border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we're going to do that on day one. That means two things on day one, right? Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders.
No, that doesn't make sense.
And I think everybody, as a Republican,
the wages will be even lower. Companies get away with paying less.
We want people
less wages. Currently,
come into our country.
The minimum wage for tippable positions is like $2 or some shit in most restaurants. They rely on tips to survive. Saying that those tips are not going to be taxed only gives further incentive to businesses to even keep those wages as low as possible. It's $2.25 an hour, $2.25 an hour right now.
On the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest. It was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow.
A graph.
Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it.
He's funny.
But without that chart, I would not be here today.
So without immigrants, you wouldn't be here, is what he's saying.
Never got to look at it. I said, you got to see this chart. I was so proud of it, and by the time I got to there, I never got to see it that day. But I'm seeing it now, and I was very proud. If you look at the arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest level, the one on the bottom, heavy red arrow. That's the lowest level of illegal immigrants ever to come into our country in recorded history, right there. Right there. And that was my last week in office. And then you see what happened after I left. Look at the rest. And if you go out a little bit further, it's getting to be a little bit old, but I love it anyway, right? But you can go much higher with those numbers. Look what happened right after that. The invasion began. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion. But the invasion that we stopped was peanuts by comparison to what happened after I left. Look at what happened after I left. They took over our country. We ended all catch and release. We shut down the COVID era. We stopped human trafficking and forged historic agreements to keep illegal aliens on foreign soil. We want them to stay on their soil. Under the Trump administration, if you came in illegally...
the COVID era, while he's also simultaneously talking about like gas prices being low, that's also COVID, which is one of the worst moments for many Americans.
The current administration terminated every single one of those great Trump policies that I put in place to seal the border. I wanted a sealed border. Again, come in, but come in legally. You know how unfair it is? So many people, hundreds of thousands of people, have been working for years to come into our country, and now they see these people pour into our country at levels that are unprecedented. It's so unfair, and we're not going to do it. We're not going to stand for it. They suspended Wall construction ended, remain in Mexico. We had a policy, remain in Mexico. You think that was easy to get from the Mexican government? But I said, you must give it to us. If you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions, and they gave it to us. But not easy. Canceled our Safe Third agreements, demolished Title 42, implemented nationwide catch and release. That's catch and release, where we catch them.
Oh, it's because them cared less, so they waited an extra month.
We catch them and release them into Mexico.
Yeah, it must not have been COVID. It's all the undocumented migrants are a monolithic invading force.
Previous administration.
Good point, Chatter. I didn't think of
93
that.
executive actions to throw open our border to the world. The entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums.
Every part of this is just false. I don't even know how to address it.
Has anyone
It's
seen
just a lie.
Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up, while crime statistics all over the world are
Migrants are going to come and eat us.
because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals, his drug dealers, his people that are in jails, he's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries,
He's talking
many
about
countries from all
Bukele?
over, I would be worse
No.
than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already.
Is he talking about El Salvador? Bukele's a right-wing darling now. He spoke at
We
CPAC.
become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, which is laughing at us. They think we're stupid. And they can't believe that they're getting away with what they're getting away with, but they're not going to be getting away with it for long. That's what I can tell you. In Venezuela, Caracas, high crime. Caracas, Venezuela, really a dangerous place, but not anymore. Because in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. In fact, if they would ever win this election, I hate to even say that, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela because it will be safe. Our cities will be so unsafe, we won't be able. We will not be able to have it there. In El Salvador, murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No.
Oh, he is
They're down
saying.
because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America.
Oh, he's saying, yeah, he
This
is
is gonna be
shitting on
very
Bukele,
bad.
who is a right-wing darling now. He literally
And
spoke
bad
at
things are
a
going to happen.
Republican
and you're
convention
seeing it happen
recently.
all the time. That's why, to keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. Even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower from many years ago. You know, he was a moderate, but he believed very strongly in borders. He had the largest deportation operation we've ever had. Just recently, I spoke to the grieving mother of Jocelyn Nungary, a wonderful woman, a precious 12-year-old girl from Houston who last month was tied up, assaulted, and strangled to death after walking to the convenience store just a block away from her house. Her body was dumped near the side of the road in a shallow creek, found by some onlookers who couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Charged with Jocelyn's heinous murder are 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela who came across our border, were in custody, and were then released into the country by this horrible, horrible administration that we have right now.
He talked about Operation Wetback, by the way. That's what he was talking about.
Mother and sister of Rachel Morin. Rachel was a
In positive
37-year-old mom of 5 beautiful children who was brutally
That's what it was
raped and
called.
murdered while out on
That's literally what it was called. Yes, Operation that word.
murdered. The monster responsible first killed another woman in El Salvador before he was led into America by the White House. This White House let them in. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in Maryland. Traveled all throughout the country, doing tremendous damage. Rachel's mother will never be the same. I spent time with her. She will never be the same. I've also met with the wonderful family of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student. She was so proud of being first in her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Yet another American life was stolen by a criminal alien set free by this administration. And these were incredible people we're talking about. These were incredible people who died. Tonight, America, this is my vow. I will not let these killers and criminals into our country.
Bro, he's going to put concentration camps up 100%. There's no other way to do this. The operation I'm talking about right now, the Bracero program, literally had that, by the way. They had concentration camps.
Streets, we will help bring
mass deportation, 1.3 million migrant workers.
I was the first president in modern times to start no new wars. You know, we were the toughest. We were the most respected. And you saw this. Hungry, strong country, run by a very powerful, tough leader. He's a tough guy. Press doesn't like him because he's tough. And he came out recently. They were asking him at an interview, the whole world is exploding. What's happening? What's going on? Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man. He said, I don't want people coming into my country and blowing up our shopping centers and killing people. But they said to him, tell us what's going wrong, what's happening, what is it? He said, there's only one way you're going to solve it. You got to bring President Trump back to the United States because he kept everybody at bay. True. He used a word I wouldn't use because I can't use that word, because you'd say it was braggadocious. The press would say he was a braggart. I'm not a braggart. But Viktor Orban said it. He said Russia was afraid of him. China was afraid of him. Everybody was afraid of him. Nothing was going to happen. The whole world was at peace. And now the world is blowing up around us. All of these things that you read about were not going to happen. Under President Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under President Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under the current administration, Russia is after all of Ukraine. Under President Trump, Russia took nothing.
Bro, you came after Obama, though. Like, oh my God! Trump heads in the chat. Trump heads in the crowd.
We defeated 100% of ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Something that was said to take 5 years, sir. It'll take 5 years, sir. We did it in a matter of a couple of months. We have a great military. Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke. I got along very well. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, I got along very well with him. The press hated when I said that. How could you get along with him? Well, you know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how could you possibly do that? But no, I got along with them, and we stopped the missile launches from North Korea. Now North Korea is acting up again, but when we get back, I get along with them. He'd like to see me back, too. I think he misses me, if you want to know the truth. Our opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war. Look at that attack on Israel. Look at what's happening with Ukraine. The cities are just bombed out. How can people live like that where buildings, massive buildings, are falling to the ground? It began to unravel with the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the worst humiliation in the history of our country. We have never had a humiliation like that. 13 heroic U.S. service members were tragically and needlessly killed. 45 others were horrifically wounded. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs, face explosions, horrifically wounded. And by the way, we have a man in this room who's running for the U.S. Senate from a great state, Nevada, named Sam Brown, who paid the ultimate price. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. He paid the biggest price probably ever paid by anybody that is running for office, and I think he's going to do great. He's running against a person that is not good, not respected, a total lightweight. But Sam, I think, paid, really, we were talking about it with some of the senators that are working so hard for Sam, but he paid the biggest price of any senator ever to run for the Senate. I don't think anybody's ever what he did. He was a real hero, a really great person, and he's running, and I hope that everybody gets out and votes for Sam Brown. And we also left behind $85 billion worth of military equipment, along with many American citizens were left behind. Many, many American citizens, emboldened by that disaster, Russia invaded Ukraine. They saw this group of people that were incompetent. We took the soldiers out first. No, we're going to take the soldiers out second. If they would have followed my plan, we had a great plan. But the plan only kicked in if they did everything perfectly, and they weren't doing things perfectly. So
it's
we
his
said
withdrawal plan that Biden continued on.
18 months.
And actually had political courage to follow through on.
So they were killing them left and right, snipers. And I spoke to the head of the Taliban. You've heard this story. Abdul, still there, still the head of the Taliban. The press got on me. Why would you speak to him? I said, because that's where the killing is. I don't have to speak to somebody that has nothing to do with it. And I told him,
Biden didn't follow through, and it was his fault. Yes, he did. Shut the fuck up.
Again, you got to stop.
Who took him out of prison, dumbasses in the chat? He did. He's the one who sidestepped the puppet government of Afghanistan.
From long distance.
He's the one who escorted him out of a Pakistani prison to directly hand him the keys. You can have issues with that if you want. But he's the one who is responsible for that. Him and Mike Pompeo.
And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it. The other guy gave him everything. I mean, what kind of
Yeah, bro, he calls you the Excellency because you took him out of prison.
Do you know that right now Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of weapons in the world? They're selling the brand new, beautiful weapons that we gave them. But think of it. He actually said to me,
I think the reason why he's not saying Biden's name is because he's gearing up towards Biden being replaced. So he thinks it's a tactical misstep to just like call Biden out by name.
But he could figure it out. And for 18 months, we had not one attack on an American soldier by the Taliban.
He's not that smart.
18.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He said Biden once and said he won't say it again.
And then we had
but the reason why he keeps
day
saying
where
this
soldiers
administration
were
f***ed up, whatever, is
because
because
of a ridiculous election. But we had that horrible attack, and they also gave up Bagram, one of the biggest bases anywhere in the world, air bases anywhere in the world, the longest runways, most powerful, hardened, thickened runways. We gave it up.
That's
and
not
I liked
why,
it, not
son.
because
Yes, it
of
is.
Afghanistan. I liked it because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And you know who has it now? China has it now.
They still talk.
We were keeping that.
He'll still say Biden every now and then, but like
And now
most
China
of this,
is likewise
most of this is directed
circling
at the
Taiwan and
administration,
Russian
this
warships
administration.
and
That's what he
nuclear
keeps saying
submarines
over and
are
over again.
operating 60 miles off the coast in Cuba. Do you know that? No, the press refuses to write about it. If that were me running this country and we had nuclear submarines in Cuba, I will tell you that the headlines every day would be, what's wrong with our president? You don't even hear this. You're not hearing about this. Russia has nuclear submarines and warships 60 miles away, Mr. Congressman, from Miami, by the way, happens to be here. Correct? In Cuba.
Why is someone clapping for that?
And that would not be stood for if it were
The
somebody
one guy
else.
that's
They
like
don't
super
even- they don't
pro-Russia
wanna
at the
mention it,
RNC.
but now maybe they will. And the entire world, I tell you this, we want our hostages back, and they better be back before I assume office, or you will be paying a very big price.
Israel already killed the hostages, bro. Give it up.
The years of war, weakness, and chaos will be over. I don't have wars. I had no wars other than ISIS, which I defeated, but that was a war that was started.
He
We had
literally
no
just said, we'll invade Gaza.
telephone call.
But he doesn't want wars.
I
He's
could
got
stop
no
wars
wars.
with just a telephone call.
I'm taking this shit off, bro. I
If
can't.
properly stated, it would never start. We
Made
will
my ear
replenish
too
our
warm.
military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland. And this great Iron Dome will be built entirely in the USA. We're going to build it in the USA. And Wisconsin, just like I gave you that massive ship contract, and you're doing a very nice job, Governor, right? Thank you, Governor. And they're doing a great job. In fact, I had a little design change, and we gave them a
Leaving your
tremendous
butt plug in,
essentially
though?
what we used to call destroyers.
Good one, dude. Yeah.
These are now
What are you,
the most
12?
beautiful. They look like yachts. I said we have
Being
to take
like, yo,
the bow
you're
and
gay?
we have
You
to
think that's
make
like
it a and a little point
Yeah,
at
dude.
the
I
top
f***ed your
instead
dad
of a
last
flat
night.
nose.
He loved it.
And the people
He
at the
used my dick as his butt plug.
is what he's doing. We have most beautiful ships, right, Governor? And everybody sitting over
Dumbass
there.
hog.
And it was a big contract that everybody wanted. I gave it to Wisconsin, but we're going to have a lot of that built right here in the state of Wisconsin and all other states. Israel has an Iron Dome. They have a missile defense system. 342 missiles were shot into Israel, and only one got through a little bit. It was badly wounded. It fell to the ground, but most of them are. And Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but we really didn't have the technology many years ago. Remember, they called it Starship, spaceship, anything to mock him. But he was a very good president, very, very good. But now we have unbelievable technology. And why should other countries have this and we don't? No, we're going to build an Iron Dome over our country, and we're going to.
Dude, do you know how big America is?
Nothing can come and harm our people.
We already have
And
missile
again, From an
systems.
economic development standpoint,
That's so
we're going to make it all
stupid.
right here. No more sending it out to other
You
countries.
can't do
in order
Iron
to
Dome
help.
coverage over the
It's
entire
America
country.
First.
It's too massive.
America first. We will unleash the power of American innovation. And as we do, we will
I think
soon
this dumbass thinks it's a literal dome or
the
something.
cures to cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many other diseases. We're going to get to the bottom of it. You remember this gentleman that I don't want to mention other than one time I had to, because when you say the 10 worst, I had to do it. I didn't want anybody to be confused. But this man said, we're going to find a cure to cancer. Nothing happened. We're going to get to the cure for cancer and Alzheimer's and so many other things. We're so close to doing something great. But we need a leader that will let it be done. We will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end immediately.
That goes hard at the RNC.
And we will restore and renovate our nation's once great cities, making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And that includes our nation's capital, which is a horrible killing
This is
field.
weed legalization for old people?
They leave from
Yes.
Wisconsin, they go to look at the Washington Monument, they end up getting stabbed, killed, or shot. We will be very soon very proud of our capital, again, Washington, D.C. America is on the cusp of a new golden age, but we will have the courage to seize it. We're going to take it. We're going to make it a current. I mean, we're going to bring this into a golden age like never seen before. Remember this, China wants to do it. Japan wants to do it. All of these countries want to do it. We have to produce massive amounts of energy if we're going to produce the new. If you look at some of the things that have been done and some of the things that we're going to do, but AI needs literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead, we're spending places where they recharge electric cars.
Wait,
they
he's
built
pro
8
AI?
chargers
What?
at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 charges for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 charges, 3 of which didn't work. And
Dude,
if you
the one good thing is that he's cooking Elon.
country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this,
He's just
and by the
cooking
way,
Elon
I'm
so
all for
hard.
electric.
After Elon said
They
he's going to
have
give
their
him $45
application.
million
But
a
if
month.
somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it. And we're going to make that change on day 1. So to conclude, just a few short days ago, my journey with you nearly ended. We know that. And yet, here we are tonight, all gathered together, talking about the future, promise, and a total renewal of a thing we love very much. It's called America.
Oh my God, he went on
We
and
live
on
in a
so
world
long.
of miracles. None of us
Yeah,
knows
people are
God's
starting to leave
plan
the
or
arena.
where
Well, it's their past their
life's
bedtime. They're
adventure will
old.
take us. I want to
They
thank
didn't want to see
Franklin
the.
Graham for
They didn't
being
want to see the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. That's why they left, I think. But you can get an uninterrupted experience
He
as
wrote
long
me a
as you
note
subscribe.
recently. I have a lot of respect for him. Sir, I love your storytelling. I think it's great in front of these big rallies. But, sir, please do me one favor. It won't make any difference. Please don't use any foul language. I was a little embarrassed. I said, he said, it won't make any difference. Actually, it does. The story's not quite as good, but I've been very good. The story is not quite as good, to be honest. I've got to have a little talk with Franklin, but he was great. He's a great gentleman. His father was so incredible, Billy Graham. My father used to love taking me to see Billy Graham. My father would take me to see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium. He had the biggest rallies you've ever seen. He was a good rally guy, too. But he'd get up, and he was a fantastic guy. My father loved Billy Graham. But I love Franklin Graham. I think Franklin's been fantastic, and I'm working so hard to adhere to his note to me. I'm working hard on it, Franklin.
Hey, is he going to call for Joe to drop soon? No, she's not. You're stupid if you think she's going to call for Joe Biden to drop out soon. She's literally been glazing Joe Biden and demanding he stay in the race nonstop. Wrap it up, man. Come on.
We have to make the most of every day for the people and for the country that we love. The attacker in Pennsylvania wanted to stop our movement, but the truth is the movement has never been about me. It has always been about you. It's your movement. It's the biggest movement in the history of our country by far. Can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. It has always been about the hardworking, patriotic citizens of America. For too long, our nation has settled for too little. We settled for too little.
Bro, at least the old man, anyway, man, can't talk for this long, so he just has to shut himself the fuck up. Holy shit.
And to accept less for your families. I am here tonight with the opposite message. Your expectations are not big enough. They're not big enough.
He's still yapping, dude. It's not yap time, it's nap time.
Time to start expecting and demanding the best leadership in the world, leadership that is bold, dynamic, relentless, and fearless. We can do that. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. But as long as our energies are spent fighting each other, our destiny will remain out of reach.
I saw.
And that's not acceptable. We must instead take that
agitated.
energy and use it to realize our country's true potential. and write our own thrilling chapter of the American story. We can do it together. We will unite. We are going to come together, and success will bring us together.
I just despise Donald Trump so much, and it's just like listening to him yap for 90 minutes is like brought me back to an era in my life where
and
just,
remember the word.
I just like a couple of the hogs that came in here to be like, no, dude, actually like lowering tax rates is good for me. And then it's just like it broke my brain again.
And defeated a mighty empire to establish our cherished republic. They fought so hard, they lost so many.
But you're not really listening to him? No, I am. I've listened to him more than you have, trust me.
A dangerous frontier, taming the wilderness to build a life and a magnificent home for their family. They packed their families into covered wagons, trekked across hazardous trails, scaled towering mountains, and braved rivers and rapids to stake their claim on the wide open, new, and very beautiful frontier. When our way of life was threatened, American patriots marched onto the battlefield, raced into enemy strongholds, and stared down death and stared down those enemies to keep alive the flame of freedom. At Yorktown, Gettysburg, and Midway, they joined the roll call of immortal heroes. So many just so many heroes, so many great, great people, and we have to cherish those people. We can't forget those people. We have to cherish those people.
He does not stop yapping. It's crazy.
And building monuments to those great people is a good thing, not a bad thing. They saved our country. No challenge was too much. No hardship was too great. No enemy was too fierce. Together, these patriots soldiered on and endured, and they prevailed because they had faith in each other, faith in their country, and above all, they had faith in their God. Just like our ancestors, we must now come together, rise above past differences. Any disagreements have to be put aside and go forward united as one people, one nation, pledging allegiance to one great, beautiful, so beautiful American flag. Tonight I ask for your partnership.
He broke his own record, bro.
For your support, and I am humbly asking for your vote. I want your vote. Going to make our country great again. Every day I will strive to honor the trust you have placed in me, and I will never, ever let you down. I promise that. I will never let you down.
Yes, what I care about is not what Trump is saying. What Trump is saying is the same old boilerplate bullshit that he said a million times over that we've heard in his rallies, but this time he's not calling Joe Sleepy Joe.
Longer.
What I care about is how CNN and all these dipshits are going to analyze the speech. Are they going to say it's presidential? Are they actually going to have smoke for him? That will determine what the rest of the country, not those who are dialed in, not the RNC, who's like obviously going to love this yap fest, but the actual people, the people in the margins, the moderates, the independents, like how will they interpret this speech? Will they get to see the entire depth of the speech? Will they get to see the anti-immigrant sentiment?
Nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us.
If CNN glazes him and says he united the party or whatever and didn't take pot shots at Biden, then a lot of people are going to get a very different perspective from the speech that is.
Destiny, and we will not fail. We will not fail. Together, we will save this country. We will restore the republic, and we will usher in the rich and
dude was almost killed. You don't think he deserves an extended speech? No.
So truly deserve.
What? I don't give a shit,
America's
dude. What?
Future.
What kind of baby shit nonsense is this? Oh, he was almost killed. He deserves an extended speech.
Freer, greater.
What are you? What is he? Your best friend? He was a former president. Yeah, he needs more than 90 minutes to talk about how immigrants are rapists and have killed 1 billion Americans, dude. You're right. I can't get enough.
And quite simply put, we will very quickly make America great again. Thank you very much.
I won't tell you what he deserves.
Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you, Wisconsin, and God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, this dumb. Oh my God, what an awful speech. Oh my God, it was so boring. I almost like ripped my eyeballs out. Not only was it incredibly annoying, but it brought back some of the worst type of Republicans into this community. I know I was like very excited at the prospect of having hogs in here every now and then, but I had forgotten how absolutely nutty and how absolutely unimaginably stupid hogs can get. Like literally in the chat advocating for tax cuts for themselves, not realizing that that actually is the reason why nothing is funded in this country and that they will get nothing out of those tax cuts. That, you know, it's just a way to further erode the limited amount of social safety nets that Americans already have. And then not only that, but then also on top of that, there were like actual long-term community subscribers being like, well, actually tax cuts are good. You don't understand. That guy's not a dumb hog who's like, who's defending how wonderful it'll be for them to get tax cuts and for you to get tax cuts. But instead it's actually, that person actually is like coming at it from a point of like addressing your privilege. That's the dumbest thing. Because when I see my own community members get duped by like virtually the dumbest person, virtually the dumbest type of person, a dude with a Honda Civic, a busted 1994 Honda Civic who thinks that's an asset, who thinks he owns private property, who thinks like these policies are helping them, advocate against their best interest, advocate against anything that could help them potentially. And then have my own community members turn around and also go, no, that guy, hold on, he has a point actually, it just makes me go insane. Okay? Yeah, dude, you're right. Raytheon needs another 10% corporate tax cut. You're right. They're so wonderful. They're so brilliant. Big Pharma needs another 10% tax cut. That'll certainly improve the American economy. It's just like one of the things that is genuinely one of the most devastating policies of Donald Trump's administration. So when people turn around and like advocate for it as though it helped them, it makes me shut down completely.